Ever since I was a little boy, I knew I wanted to be a cop, ever since I was a little kid, because even as a little kid I used to get this uncontrollable urge to stop other little children on their tricycles and just talk down to them in a condescending fashion, really, but I grew up on a diet of American cop shows, so I guess I wanted to be an American cop, really. You know, I like things like Miami Vice and stuff like that. But I knew I couldn't be an American cop, of course. I don't look American, I don't sound American. I haven't got a cool cop name like Beretta, or McGarrett, or Dirty Harry. How cool is that, Dirty Harry? Dirty Alf doesn't work, you see. Just sounds like I've had my laptop seized. So I'm told I follow some very prestigious speakers at this event. Bernard Hogan Howe, no less, who incredibly is just one person, I've discovered. I thought it was a tag wrestling team, but now I know the police have got a sense of humour, and I've got to be careful what I say, because I don't know if you've heard the Radio 4 show that Howard mentioned. It's a fair cop. It's on tonight, actually, at 6:30. But that upsets some of the... I take the mickey out of the Metropolitan Police quite a bit, but everybody does tell me that's allowed, isn't it? You know, but some of the senior officers got offended and wrote in to complain after some of my jokes have been explained to them. They didn't like it, you know, they got the crayons out, drew angry faces on the letter. So, if you get caught stealing, first offence this country wants is slap on the wrist. Is that fair to say? Slap on the wrist. Maybe second offence to get something a bit more serious. Whereas countries like Saudi Arabia, boy, don't they do it the opposite way around. Saudi Arabia, first offence, stealing wraps to you. Chop your hand off. Second offence, slap on the wrist. They do it the opposite way around. Repeat offenders, very easy to identify, very difficult to handcuff, you know, in my experience, you know. So here's a true story, I'll finish with it. It happened about 4 years ago now in Scunthorpe. A guy was walking his dog by the riverbank in Scunthorpe and he found a human head, true. He did the right thing, he rang it into the police, happened to be on duty, got sent to this scene. I instantly thought, this looks suspicious. Years of training. So the first thing I did, I took the gentleman's details, thanked him for his call, sent him on his way because he couldn't seem to stop his dog licking the head. And I thought it might compromise the forensics. Now, once he'd gone, the lady on the radio said to me, there's an ambulance en route. And what some of you may not know, unless you're connected with the police, we're not actually allowed to say somebody's dead, we're not medically qualified. We have to send for a medical professional to come and tell us. Which left me and the head waiting. So here's the scene. It's me and this head, cold winter's morning, riverbank in Scunthorpe. Now this is sad because I looked up and I started to figure out what had happened. There was a rope actually hanging from the handrail of the bridge, and this chap had hanged himself. He jumped off the bridge, he was a big guy, he'd been swinging in the wind, and his head had actually come off. His body landed in the river, his head landed in a steep embankment. Must have been a bit of backspin on the head. Because it stops where it was now. What follows a bit of a breakdown in communication. I think we can all relate to this. To be honest, I don't think the lady on the radio was really listening to what I was saying, and clearly she was one of these people that were a stickler for procedure, so she went down this checklist of questions that she felt obliged to ask. So she said, is he conscious and breathing? I said, no, he's just a head. She said, pupils fixed and dilated, skin clammy to touch. I said, fairly, but he has been licked by a dog. She said, what's his colour like? I said, quite pale, but his airways are clear. She said, keep him warm. He's probably in shock. I said, now you mention it. He does have a rather surprised expression on his face. Must be when he saw his body swimming off. Without him, I thought, keep him warm. I've got a balaclava in the van. She said, I'm going to put the phone down, but do ring me back if his condition deteriorates. I said, listen, I think you're failing to grasp the situation. This man's vital signs are no torso. I'm not going to, in the recovery position, apply a tourniquet. I'll give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, because if I do, I'll probably only end up blowing on my own elbow. She got stroppy then. She said, I've got to ask you these questions so the paramedics know what equipment to bring. I said, tell them to bring a hat box. Anyway, I went about an hour and a half to the freezer cold. Eventually, doctor turns up. Long story short, in the end, turns out he was dead. So, I'll see you later. Enjoy your lunch. Thank you.